Hello there again, welcome everyone. In my last video I started to rant about Blizzard and Blizzard's very illogical steps to improve the game, well at least improve from their aspect. Problem is, these improvements are really oddly reasoned. They do have a reason behind them. Unfortunately, these reasons are illogical, at least for me. I'm going to look over the evolution of World of Warcraft, starting from vanilla. And basically what I think about vanilla, I know many of you think that vanilla was the best, and that there is nothing better than that. Well, I don't think so. It wasn't the best. Really. I normally look at vanilla as an extended beta, simply because, if you remember well, many of the specs talents were just as useless as a dead brick, so consider that my opinion. For me, the king, or the top, the peak performance of World of Warcraft was the Burning Crusade. Obviously I do miss, even to this day, the 40-man raids. In another way, let's just say that quite many of the people were actually useless. Depend on the tier, on which raid you were doing. In Naxxramas, the 40 people often wasn't enough, but Naxxramas was pretty much like a Sunwell Plateau, with overpowered numbers starting to appear, and especially from the mobs. Some of these useless specs and talents were like Feral Druid was quite useless, although they could yield some kind of a support, and basically that was it. In the Burning Crusade we could slowly start to see feral tanks and other less used raid specs in raids. I have met people who had feral druids even in vanilla, and when they had a feral druid with their rogues were amongst top DPS, so that was the primary role, for example, of feral druid. Other less used specs include protection paladin, although people considered it a bit of a better choice. Unfortunately, gear and itemization wasn't really in favor of these less used specs. Most of the hybrid classes simply had just a healer gear or healer set, and basically that's why I consider vanilla just an extended beta. And then they started to really develop the game and make it a better game and more available, accessible for people who do not think think differently. For example, I, who had my career in the Burning Crusade as a feral tank, and to this day I cry back for those ages. Anyway, let's head on, and meanwhile I'm going to do some pretty crazy stuff like this. Yeah, this is one thing I really enjoy about Demon Hunter, but let's not talk about Demon Hunters as if nay. Look at the sky, it's very nice. So anyway, and in Burning Crusade we also saw the introduction of jewel crafting, and if I remember well, inscription was added in Wrath of the Lich King, but I'm not 100% sure about this. So take that with a grain of salt, please. And back then, when these were introduced, we thought that they will last like that forever. On the other hand, with the welcome of Legion, and even before Warlords of Draenor, we could see that these things won't last long like that. And basically there are some points that I do not get about Blizzard changing these. or radical, and they seemingly don't follow a guide or a headline or a main line on how to improve the game. And this is a striking problem, and well, it's not really a problem, but it really strikes the eyes of veteran players like me, for example. So let's start the rant, the unofficial rant about this. Blizzard changed dual crafting in gems and sockets basically on the basis that many people were just using stamina gems. I never did that, by the way. I did use stamina gems, but not the way I think many people did. Say, well, on my warrior and protection paladin, I did indeed use just stamina gems because those were the most efficient. They removed, well, they did not remove gems. They just reworked it, and they gave us more powerful gems. At least that's what they like to say and mention about the whole stuff. The thing is that I don't really see them becoming more powerful in that sense. Sockets are just way too rare, and you might not have enough sockets to really make the gems power shine through it. So that's a thing about gems, so what I think. So they really made all of this because people were just stuck in one kind of gem, and it broke the diversity. That's what they like to say. The problem is, so they decided to make gems more powerful. Are they really that powerful? I don't think so. Especially that most of the people are still going for the same one kind of a gem, because all the classes have their different strengths in different secondary stats that gems give nowadays. For example, seemingly the new demonology lock meta is about haste and then mastery. I just train it. There's nothing bad about it, so I can really keep in line with the gems that we have these days. Ooh! Stat gems return. Unique equipped. Yeah, so that's the price for it. Still not bad. I really like it. But rest, as you can see, you will see critical strike gems, mastery gems, haste gem, versatility gem, and these are all. So basically your class will scale from one of these much better than from the others, making yet again the same problem as that there is, meaning especially that we will just stack one kind. Now with the tanking Demon Hunter, I found Mastery to be the king. It is really great stuff for Vengeance. Vengeance? Is it what it's called? Yeah, Vengeance is the tanking Demon Hunter spec. It simply makes wonders because Demon Spike scales from Mastery. Yeah, you take less physical damage. The parry remains the same, but less physical damage, and even then it's quite good because basically that's what you use for, and most of the damage is physical damage, so consider it a very universal ability to sink damage from auto attacks of bosses. Now for the rest, you should use Empower Wards. That reduces magical damage. So what I would like to say is that
the Illidori cannot be stopped.
We are all that stands.
the rest is really nonsense. That wise, you have to use magical wards, and typically magical damage I think will be deadly, so you're supposed to die from it and not to soak it. but that's completely a different thing, more like a PvP. Nonetheless, I found use of it because there is some magic damage that you can't avoid. You want to help the healers, and you guessed it right, so it can be used. But anyway, Demon Hunter is just mastery, so even if I have less sockets, I would still put master into it, because I found it one of the best stats, considering that I want to be a tank with my Demon Hunter. Yeah, this is beta, by the way, so nothing is permanent. So basically what Blizzard did was nothing. They simply just removed main stat gems because they wanted more diversity, and what they ended up is having even less diversity. So congratulations, Blizzard, you made a change that was very badly reasoned, was not really sought after, and overall you achieved nothing. Next is, and this is also in relationship to gear, is that basically there is one thing very bad about gear at the moment, and it is that it's spiky. It changes a lot, and it changed a lot throughout the expansions. And as the expansions gave us new zones, these items also change quite a lot. There are just gaps, very, very big gaps between two expansions
You are our last best.
in very odd ways. Just to mention, yeah, in Cataclysm everything changed, and so vanilla zones changed, but we all remember the change between how big the gap was between, for example, even in the Burning Crusade transition into Wrath of the Lich King zones, so different mindset for sets, items, I'm sorry, and these gaps strike through as early as you start zoning. Now another big gap, we are going to see another big gap when we transition from Warlords of Draenor to Legion zones. Guys, really, so if you haven't geared up your alts, just do it, get some gear for them. I've had quite a few characters that I did the with which I did the artifact quests, and with some of them, well, with one of them, with my elemental shaman, I tended to die at times. Yeah, that gear, damn it. But with my Death Knight, I actually struggled to keep myself alive. This is also in relation with the changes that we have seen recently, so we still need to get accustomed to our builds. But yeah, I struggled a bit. The gap is extremely big, I really have to say.
I must protect the
At least for the artifact quest. You get a very good reward on the other hand, so just be prepared for it. And you can see how much stamina these gems give, or rings give. Quite good, right? I don't really have any lower tier gear with me, so I can't really show the difference, but there is a difference. A very noteworthy gap. This gap also strikes through with gear obtained from those raids or dungeons. Some of them still have sockets, so they are not updated. And Blizzard, I'm not saying that Blizzard should retrospectively change everything regarding the gear. It's just really, it is simply too much work. But some update should be is welcome. In the Burning Crusade we can still see all the paradigms of World of Warcraft strike through. The same in Lich King, Wrath of the Lich King, and the same goes for Cataclysm.
How may I
But
aid
anyway, coming with gear, we also have the metas changing a lot. Now in Burning Crusade, oops, nice, one more level I think. No, it is no one more level indeed. And the Burning Crusade, we had trees with high armor, naturally high armor, so we didn't have mastery or spell spread, and with lots of dodge. And we got used to raids being based around dodge, so yeah, the passive dodge was changed into a more active avoidance, and that's not bad considering that it makes tanking just a lot more fun, a lot more interactive. That's what they like to say. But nowadays, seemingly there is, how to say it the best? Lots of health. Really, really lots of health. Useless as it can be. Anyway, this really started, I think, in Cataclysm, but I'm not really sure. But even in Wrath of the Lich King, we no longer had the armor cap. We were never close to it. Anyway, and this misery with armor and bonus armor started to coalesce into a conflict between, I think, most of the feral druids. I'm speaking from the feral druids perspective mostly, because that's what I played with a lot. So that's a problem really, and with the latest patch, by the way, so with the latest patch, we are no longer around dodging attacks. We are just made to absorb attacks. All our spells are tuned around absorbing attacks, and I will have to see how it will actually work out with my Feral Druid. I haven't played Feral Druid in a Legion yet, nor have I tried it on live servers. For some reason, I'm just finishing off with stuff, selling stuff and things like that, so nothing important really. But they have changed the path of the raid so many times, the mastery, how we are supposed to gear ourselves to how we are supposed to play, what priorities should we have, so many times between all of these expansions, but they seemingly don't have focus, and this is a striking problem not only for ferals, feral tanks, bear druids, whatever, but also a problem for, I think, many other classes. See the demonology changes. I don't know, as I have played with the demon hunter already, I am really against the idea to remove metamorphosis from them. It really gave a touch for demon warlocks. But that's my opinion. I don't know how many of you feel about this change, but it's ill reasoned. That's what I'm saying. The same changes are applied for destruction, and all of the warlocks have soul shards now, which is, I don't know, quite immersion breaking with the spec you use. And I'm pretty sure that they are going to still change it extremely and a lot of times, because they are not satisfied with the results, although I think the most satisfiable results were in Cataclysm and Mr. Pandaria regarding the specs. But anyway, there's this misery, and basically what they forgive or forget to do is update items for these. Lower level tanks suffer a lot from mobs. They really can't take on a lot of mobs, and even a smaller pack can be as deadly even now, especially with legions. And that's a striking problem. There aren't many items on lower levels that would give bonus armor or high income of stamina, or absorb, or used to absorb, because you are presumed to spec level as Retribution or as a Feral and not Guardian. Yeah, I'm still calling Bear Druids Feral because I'm just used to that. But please, whenever I mention Feral tanking, or when I'm talking about Feral, it will be about tanking at this minute at least. And some of these changes, by the way, welcome. See what they have done to survival hunters. I really like the new survival. It's really great. Something that should have been done earlier. And I will have to see how the new combat rogue will actually play like. I'm interested in it. Well, I still don't know what. Still don't know the focus of combat rogue. Maybe in time, as I will play with the class and the spec, I will figure it out. But right now it seems chaotic. So that's about the specs. So they changed quite a lot. And now we also saw changes to glyphs. A change that I just don't understand, really. First of all, the problem with inscription and glyphs wasn't that it also enforced cookie cutter builds. One of the problem with both with inscription was that it did not have anything, for example, for brewmaster tanks. Yes, I have lots of tanks. I really like tanking in this game. It's really a relaxing task. All the times I do freak out, indeed. And some specs were completely left without any usable glyph because Blizzard simply failed to realize that those specs exist. So there's that. But anyway, now they have completely removed the glyph sheet tab, which is just, I think, a terrible idea. At least some form of information should be given to players which glyphs they can choose to use. Most of them are cosmetic, and indeed most of them is cosmetic. All of them is cosmetic, so that's what I would like to say. I have a problem here, and that's just a bad change in my opinion. Totally unreasonable to remove glyphs, absolutely. So Blizzard tried to reduce cookie cutter builds because the game was homogeneous for them, and guess what they do on the other side? Well, they homogenize the classes. So we are sick and tired of homogenization, and we start homogenization of the classes. And now this homogenization ends in the complete removal of party and raid buffs because it simply kept certain players out of the raid because they didn't have that buff. Well, with Warlords of Draenor, I have never ever seen a raid with a single missing buff. So all the buffs were there. So I am totally confused what Blizzard is really trying to mean with these homogenization, and I think that the solution should have been that all of these buffs become doable. So buffs, okay, say that we don't say that we want everyone, and well, okay, let me restart forming the sentence. And they had a system in which buffs became raid-wide, so everyone in your raid got the buffs, and that was okay, right? Say the transformation of Bloodlust to become a raid-wide, that was a very welcome change. It no longer people or raids no longer required 3 shamans to do the Bloodlust, and things like this started to appear. So there were some good ideas. they also killed a few classes meanwhile, while they try to solve this lots of boss things. For example, in my opinion, they have completely killed Shadow Priest. In a sense, they no longer yield mana regeneration, but they have done other things to do that. So yeah. Anyway, I'm not really. I don't agree with that, but I can understand the logic behind that. Why they've done that. It simply made a certain class. Then they came up with the replenishment applicable by a few classes. I don't recall which. Shadow Priest was one, Elemental Shaman was one, I think, and then they also removed mana regeneration sources like Innovate or Mana Tide Totem. It started with having a nerfing base, by the way, but that doesn't really matter. Nerfing is balancing and not removing features. But anyway, I really feel sorry for buffs. You know, the only solution that there would be that all the classes receive a single buff that would give all the buffs that there were in Warlords of Arena. You know, the 1 hour buffs. And that would be a fair deal in my opinion. That would finally make every class have the same buff and we are safe. But yeah. So there were good ideas, and they also made, say, certain auras rate, right? For example, Moonkin forms aura, which improved the spell critical chance by 5%, I think. Yeah, 5%. So there were good ideas there, how to make bring the player, not the class, a bit more of a reality. But I think they overdone it, and they killed certain classes and features of the game.
Where are you hiding your food, maggot?
What I wanted to talk about, I don't remember.
Search everywhere. These peasants have been hiding rations.
And yeah, even itemization started. Well, itemization is finally a good thing. So I'm really happy as a Feral Druid main that we finally have condensed gear. You just change the spec, and the main stuff also changes on it, and your gear. That's very welcome a change. So these are just unreasonable too. They have a reason behind. Blizzard gave us the reasons why they are doing that, but they just seem to be lost. They added features that were completely removed without a second thought, and yeah, we can admit that, yeah, they tried to fix this problem, but they utterly failed at it. Removing something is not fixing something. Oh, there is still something there.
I can't attack that target.
Certain features were just ill removed. For example, ammunition for hunters. I will give them a spell, exotic ammunitions, much earlier, and for all the build. Because, you know, even if we remove ammunition, we wanted to, because, yeah, it was really a disadvantage for hunters in a way. An economic disadvantage, by the way. So, not really, but at times it was also a difference between into Hunter's performance, because one might not have the time to farm through the mats. But anyways, I will add an item, a single-use item. I think that was used from a time, and I think that was the solution. That you just craft an ammunition and you will never run out of it, but it is there as a stack. And we can also talk about some relics, sigils, idols, totems, librams, if you remember them. These were unique to certain classes, namely a Death Knight, Paladin, Shaman and Druid, which was removed for some unknown reason. I don't know why. I don't think that they were actually game breaking. Well, maybe a bit, one extra item, so that might be the reason. But back then, hunters could use melee weapons and warriors could use ranged weapons, but they wanted to eliminate the competition for these items, highly sought after items. Because why would a hunter take melee weapon if he's just going to shoot, or why would a warrior take, or a rogue take hunter items? For the same reason. So I can understand, but it's ill-reasoned. In my opinion, it could have been solved in other ways. And namely, by the way, please remember that these sigils weren't that strong, because most of the times warriors had either one two-handed weapon. Well, no, never mind. I can't make it out. But yeah, I especially like the ones with sigils and librams that gave some certain abilities, certain strengths. For example, improving thread damage by 88, if I remember that item well. And there is another item dropping from the Black Temple, that used to drop from the Black Temple, I'm sorry, that increased your attack power after using Mangle. I think it was around 100, and for 12 or so seconds. So every now and then you would have it. So you could count it as a constant effect. Alright, let's head on. So even glyphs were ill removed and changed in a very ill way, I think. So most of the times the problem is that they don't really have a good reason to do that. They wanted to remove cookie cutter builds, but the only thing that can go against the cookie cutter build is that, well, you propose or you give players good choices, alternative choices. For example, right now, as a tank demon hunter, I told you already that I would go for mastery without anything else. Maybe a few haste, but I don't think that it could help my pain generation. That's the resource for tanking demon hunters. I would go for mastery, but say if critical strikes gave me more pain, I might go for a bit of critical strike. Alright? And yeah, that feels correct. Or say haste, say I have a passive pain generation, although that sounds very bad. So yeah, things like this. Or I remember that there was a time in World of Warcraft in which we had we prepared for it unusable talents. Yes, unusable talents, and it wasn't in the old school of talents, so vanilla, and in a way even Cataclysm, but all it was in Mists of Pandaria. There were just talents that I would never pick because they were just useless. Trust me, really, I've tried them, and overall this feels like there is no competition for picking a talent. So talents talents have no competition. Just look at my build at the moment. Razor Spikes sounds good for solo or PvP, but otherwise it just sucks. It's not really for tanking. Neither Abyssal Strike, but maybe Abyssal Strike have a very good one because it gives you a kind of mobility. Simply make it to charge every 15 seconds instead of 20. So that could be good. Say, for example, you want to avoid an AoE, so that's a good choice. On the other hand, I picked Immolation Aura because I just love it a lot better. Increased movement speed, it's also great for solo. How did you die? Okay. But I do remember that even for my Druid and even from most of my toons, I have seen talents that were just useless. I wouldn't pick them all. I would never pick them. Never ever pick them. And they removed talents because they wanted to get rid of cookie cuts or builds. They did not remove talents. They changed to the new talent system instead. Point is that they did not reduce the amount of cookie cutterness, if such a word exists. Instead, they enforced even more. So the reason is bad. Or well, it's not unreasonable. So there is a very good reason behind. Unfortunately, the realization of this change leaves a lot to be desired. But that's a personal opinion, of course. I think that now, at the moment, at times I have really seen hard choices. I mean, I will not know which to pick. So they improved there. So the talents are slowly have started to lose their cutterness, if such a word exists. But then again, we shall see. Okay, other things that are just unreasonable. Remember cross-run, and they implemented it because they wanted to improve. That's a good item. Wow, that's a very good item there. Amazing. Really amazing. So they removed them because, so they featured, or they added this feature because, well, they felt like leveling was slow and they wanted to help leveling. Yes, certainly. We used to have group quests, we no longer have them, and most of the group quests that require you to kill an elite can be easily solo. So, I removed cross-run already, in a way. But point is that it does not necessarily improve your leveling speed or leveling experience. To simply put it, people will just steal stuff away from you, and that's a problem there. So instead of speeding or improving your experience, they are worsening it because you have to worry about some other players. So what are you even talking about, this one? Alright. Because yeah, there is a competition for mobs. There is a competition for quest mobs that either drop or something, or just have to be killed. And oftentimes, I have recently started leveling the Dwarven Paladin. Yes, the Dwarven Paladin, because for me, Dwarves are the only alliance race. I'm only playing an Night Elf at the moment because, well, there are no Dwarven Demon Hunters, and I really hope that this will stay like this, so don't make Demon Hunters non-elf. So there are just huge problems with that, and it's really many times with my dwarf I was in areas that were overcrowded and there were just no mobs alive to kill, and I demanded drops. Now recently they have started to add or improve cross-realm, and now I was going to forget about this, and now we have what am I supposed to say? Cross-run tap or multiplayer tap, meaning that if you damage a mob and another player damages it, it doesn't turn. So if you damage a mob, it doesn't become grey for for other players. Well, okay, this is not the case for all the mobs, but I have seen monsters that have this feature applied to them. So if other players damage it, they can also get the credit for the kill, meaning that they will progress with the quest, and they also receive the loot. Gold is not shared, I think, but both player is looting an expected amount, so what would normally drop from that monster, or that could drop from that monster. So yeah, that's finally a step to making Crossrealm better and overcrowded places better. Bad features that were removed for no reason. There are quite many. Unfortunately, I can't recall any of them. So that's a problem with my memory. But I do remember that we had features that were removed, and I did not understand the reason behind them. And overall, after all, I found it odd and ill-reasoned to be removed. If you come up with any, please write it down in the comment so that other players may know. And we also have a few things that were improved. For example, Garrison started your farm in Mr. Pandaria. Just a moment. Awesome! Look at mastery. So yeah, there was that. And you had this small farm. And that was a cool idea, I think. So that feature was not removed. It lives in the Garrison, and now it lives in the class of the Hall. By the way, I do like the class of the Hall a lot better. I really like the Garrison too, but it certainly made certain stuff just useless. You had no reason to go for a gathering profession, because you could basically get tons of materials from your Garrison. But now we are no longer going to have the same issue, so that's welcome change, Blizzard. I used to herb. I am having herbalism on my trade. Yes, I remember, but I forgot to mention. I will in a moment. And that's a really welcome change. So changes like that are more than welcome, because it simply killed the competition of herbalism and mining. And there was a huge balanced issue, because Skinners still have to go out to wilderness and do stuff around there. Even if you were playing with the barn, you have to go out and kill mobs or gather their stuff. So yeah, no, you didn't have to kill, you just have to weaken them down to, I remember well, 35%. And now I think that requires more effort still than just going into your mine and cherry picking everything. Alright, so professions. Back then we had very powerful crafting professions, so blacksmithing, especially in Burning Crusade. I think there was this problem that they could actually enchanting, jewel crafting and blacksmithing had so good advantages that they were actually way too powerful compared to there were blacksmithing only stuff, or if not blacksmithing only, but jewel crafting only stuff, and they were quite powerful. And people who had two crafting professions had a major advantage over those who had, for example, a gathering and the crafting profession. And then they added bonuses, perks for crafting professions, and it was solved. But then it was removed for no reason, I think. Yeah, and absolutely no reason. There was not a single reason there. So back fight. That's why I love this tank. I think I could summarize all of my... And then they removed it for no reason. I survived it. Nice. I should be dead of that thing.
Hear the eaves and roars at my command.
Stop tossing me around, you bitch! Jesus Christ, this is getting ridiculous. So yeah, things like this, and you see there is no apparent reason for them to remove them in such a manner.
The hammer never chose you, Dark. It seeks a wielder who possesses true strength, and you are found lacking. It's done, heroes. With Darkroll dead and the hammer reclaimed,
and I'm thinking about this. So based on these, I think that Blizzard doesn't really think forward on the long run. So they seemingly, or at times they also feel like they are confused. They don't know what they want to do with their game. So it is their game. They have the right to actually make tanking mages, and well, I wouldn't say no. Frost could tank, you know. But please, Blizzard, and yeah, if any Blizzard developer sees this video, I ask you this: please try to think on the long run, because this will not hold. This will slowly fall apart. People are already having problems with I don't know how to say, ill-reasoned changes that have really no basis behind them. And do you players agree? So do you feel like Blizzard is losing its grasp on World of Warcraft? Do you think so? Well, I think we shall see, even in Legion, and whatever happens after Legion. And for those who have watched through all of this, I really thank you for watching, and please, if you have anything to share, if you have anything that may add to this kind of an so if you have anything to add, please share in the comment section below, and thank you for watching.